Welcome to Charting with Dyl, and I'm your host, Dyl. This previous weekend was a slower one, as only one new film opened wide. However, that film opened in 4,242 theaters, being the new DreamWorks animated film, Abominable. Looking at the domestic top 5, Abominable tops the weekend with $20.8 million, coming in at its projected opening of $20.6 million that was reported last weekend. Abominable is a fascinating case. This film strikes a lot of similarities to a film that, interestingly enough, came out roughly 1 year, actually 364 days ago, being another animated Yeti film called Smallfoot. Smallfoot, which was distributed by Warner Brothers Animation, starred Channing Tatum, Zendaya, and James Corden. Smallfoot was made for a reported budget of $80 million, and the film opened at $23 million in 4,100 theaters, but had competition in its opening weekend against the Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish comedy Night School, where Smallfoot came in second. The Tatum-starring film went on to gross for $83.2 million and earned a cinema score of A- from audiences. On the flip side, Abominable does not support the all-star cast and was made for a budget of roughly $75 million. The film had no direct competition on its opening weekend and came in first at the box office. However, even with earning a higher cinema score from audiences with an A and the opening in roughly 100 more theaters, the film made less money than Smallfoot, totaling at $20.8 million. We will keep an eye on Abominable and track how it compares with Smallfoot for weeks to come to see if the A cinema score helps its legs in the future. Bringing things back to the domestic top 5, Downton Abbey slides down to second, dropping 53.8%, which is a noticeable drop. However, as we discussed last week, the film came in way over projections, so the Royals at the Abbey are doing just fine, totaling at $14.3 million this previous weekend. Jumping up from 5th last week all the way up to 3rd is Hustlers in its 3rd week of release, only dropping 32.2%, earning $11.3 million. On Hustler's tail is the Pennywise and Losers Club, with It Chapter 2 staying put at 4th, earning $10.2 million and dropping only 39.8%, which is a great hold for a horror film in its 4th week of release, because the horror genre is known to have massive drops week to week, as we discussed with The Nun a few episodes ago. Rounding up the top 5 is Ad Astra, dropping from 2nd and losing 47.3% of its earnings from week to week to earn $10 million. However, the Brad Pitt starring film once again is outpacing the Sylvester Stallone installment of Rambo, as Rambo Last Blood drops from 3rd off of the top 5 all the way down to 6th. Outside of the top 5, but in 7th, opening in only 461 theaters, was the Renee Zellweger starring Judy, which snagged $2.9 million, and as I said, only 461 theaters. The film garnered an A- cinema score, which indicates audiences will have good word of mouth for the Oscar-hopeful film, and Zellweger looking to snag Oscar Gold for her portrayal of Judy Garland. Transitioning to the fall box office season, we see one new film added to the graphic. In the 5th weekend of the fall box office season, It Chapter 2 remains in the top spot, earning nearly $193 million in its 4th week of release. In second, just like last week, remains Hustlers, now up to $80 million on a $20 million budget, which is a great return on investment for Styx Entertainment, who has had a rough time at the box office in recent years. Then, similar to last week, Downton Abbey, Ad Astra, and Rambo Last Blood take up the next 3 spots, all adding to their respective domestic grosses. Our new film Abominable opens in 6th, and will look to leapfrog Ad Astra and Rambo Last Blood in the coming weeks. Rounding up the fall box office is The Goldfinch in 7th, with just $5.2 million, dropping 79% in its 3rd week of release. Speaking of the fall box office, a new film opens wide this upcoming weekend, which looks to come for the October box office opening crown, being the Joaquin Phoenix starring Joker adaptation. The record is currently held by last year's Venom, which opened at $80.2 million, just edging out the 2018 Halloween reboot, which made $76.2 million. Collider predicts that Joker will open around $82 million, while Forbes is swinging for the fences, stating that Joker could exceed expectations and reach $100 million domestically, which even It Chapter 2 failed to do last month. Check back next week to see if the Clown Prince of Crime can steal the crown from Venom to become the highest October opening of all time domestically. I am Dylan McKercher, thanking you for tuning into this edition of Charting with Dyl. Check out my Twitter, _Life of Dylan, and Facebook, Charting with Dyl, for day-to-day updates throughout the week, and hope to see you next week for more.